turn the music off. There we go. What's up, fuckers? Welcome to the Red Match Podcast, the automotive podcast where I don't know. There's four of us. Timmy had a loss in the family. Fucking big ups to Timmy. Everybody's whole fucking shit is so fucked right now.
Fucking COVID through 2
It's
years.
COVID
and we're getting
and
all this
then-
other bullshit going on.
Oh, you mean fucking Russian Rambo decides he wants to go full Cold War 1984 all of a sudden?
Right.
For no goddamn reason.
There is that point too, you know.
I don't know if you understand this,
world.
Michael, but we're
You know why?
just cause he could.
Because he could, yeah.
Because he
because
could.
he's not scared of the guy that we got falling asleep on the podium right now either.
Well, that's also fair, but at the same time, it's like he's
I'm
doing
watching this shit, and it's like somebody pulled his monitors to the back of the room or something. Like he's squinting so hard.
Well, it's
He
like, what do
tells
you
these
do? Here's the
stories
thing,
that
though, too, is
people,
like this dude, this crazy bear riding bastard is like doing the thing that you're not supposed to do, which is like, I'll shoot a nuke at you. It's like we don't do
No.
that. Like we decided decades ago. Everybody's got them. Nobody uses them. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's
Right.
the whole thing.
yeah.
We all
It's a
know that we have.
deterrent,
Yeah.
But nobody's gonna fucking press the button. Like,
Yeah, that's it, right? Well, it's like, hey, you got him, I got him too. Cool, right? This is like the armed
Right.
society is a polite society thought process. It's like
Yeah.
nobody's firing a nuke if everybody's got nukes. Putin's like, it's like I'm your fucking Huckleberry
I'll
dog.
fire.
So you know that's going on. We had
Letting in shit.
right. We had a guest lined up for last week. He broke his jaw. It's like, what the fuck, dude? It's like,
Dude,
Yeah.
can't catch a
So we
break.
My
pushed-
boy, he
Go ahead.
clenches in his teeth, and in his sleep, so he fractured his jaw, and it's super painful. Like he came to work yesterday, he had like lost 10 pounds, and this dude's already skinny as shit. And I was just like,
Man,
bro,
he's not a big dude. We will have
Yeah.
him on soon. Just speedy recovery. Everybody get better.
yeah,
It's just like it's a weird time to be doing content right now for us specifically because there's just so much fucking shit that's going on.
Everything's going on right now.
Yeah, so we're just doing what we can and we're just gonna keep it pushing.
We're gonna do what we can
Okay.
and make sure you like and subscribe.
Hey, bing bang, bing bang.
all the A.
Because we always fucking
Yeah,
forget to
we
say
always
it.
miss
We'll
it.
be like 3 hours in and go, oh yeah, by the way,
Like and subscribe. Like nobody's
when, like,
here.
one person makes it that fucking far through the
I
episode.
figure
like-
all you guys just start listening to Larry June recently or some shit. It's like
No.
everybody's doing the same. Like,
No, it's just a matter of we don't fucking we know where people are at when they're at there. I mean, we didn't even
notice that when we do the podcast, ever.
Yeah, no, we're bad. We're bad about it. But it's cool. We're just gonna chill.
Hey.
Lenny's gonna join us a little bit later, probably. We're just doing this real free form because we're just trying to give you guys something. We get messages like when's the next pod when we missed a week and all types of shit. So we don't want to leave you guys hanging. Show off that sweet Rev Match merch, boys. Let's see what we got going on. Turn around. Shake what your mama gave you. There it is. All right.
That is
Peanut
big
Works.
news for us, boys.
Yeah, so we did a small run of merch. We're still working on getting stickers. We had to switch vendors. Thank you, Tommy. Oh, I also think the hoodies are sick. And when my mysterious one ever gets here, I will show you what it looks like.
Fuck, I said
See,
last Monday. I'm not the
It's no, dude. It's the United States Postal Service. Do not blame yourself. What are you doing? Why are you stealing?
all
internet,
that privacy, huh?
We're getting jacked live on the podcast. He's getting jacked live on the podcast, right?
I don't know if you guys knew this, but I live in Detroit. So
Really?
we're gonna
After the
tangent
first
for a
combo we
second.
had earlier.
We're gonna
No.
tangent. We're gonna tangent for. Don't start. We're not having that conversation on air.
No, we're not having that.
So, my buddy one of my buddies lived in Detroit, and we used to just talk shit. Like I could buy a house in Detroit for what I pay on my car payment every month, whatever, right? And one of my
fucking
other
true.
friends somehow got an image, and I don't know if it was real. I don't know if it was fake, but it was somebody's house, and the porch had been ripped off. And he goes, "Motherfuckers in Detroit can't have anything." So it was just this thing of
Can't
like,
have nothing nice.
the steal your porch in Detroit.
Right?
Hey, also Jamal, can you tilt
crazy.
your camera down? Because we just see the top of your head. Nobody cares if you're rolling a blunt on the internet, dude. It's like actually Twitch
Something
might
right
care.
there.
I don't know. We might get banned for this. Who knows? It's legal where he
No.
is.
Fucking 2022, fucking bastard.
Yeah, well, Jeff
But-
Bezos owns Amazon. Dude,
Yeah.
we've gone 10 solid minutes now talking about cars. Look at us go. Huh?
Yes.
What kind of
Doing
podcast
it,
is
we're
this?
doing it. Yeah.
What kind of podcast is this?
We are looking to do more merch though, right? We got a couple of different t-shirt designs that we're going to try to put out there. I think we're going to try to do the limited run production as Alec gets robbed again.
Please, dude.
But I think we're going to try to put a poll out on Instagram and kind of see what you guys are feeling, what you're not feeling, what designs you like, and kind of do like a pre-order. Maybe we'll do sweatshirts, we can do hoodies, we can do t-shirts.
Yeah,
different
it's
designs.
kind of Mike and I were talking about this because we're trying to set up a storefront for some. Obviously, Mike kind of pulled the trigger on getting some merch for us, just for us to have some shit because it's good to wear to events and stuff like that. Anything excess, we're gonna slang off. I've already got some stuff sold to some folks that want it. So let us know. We'll eventually do a Shopify or something just to make our life easier and keep orders set up. But yeah, we're thinking about doing like a pre-order purchasing just because it's we're just starting to do this shit and like it's a little safer for us like to be ordering for
Financially.
to be ordering for folks that want some shit. And then obviously as the merch grows, it just becomes a thing. We'll keep shit in stock and do all that
Yeah.
type of thing. But for now, we're just we're crawling into it, so we'll fucking let you know. But as everybody knows, I'm not doing shit right now. So who has been doing big things this week in the automotive world?
Ow.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
Cow.
Kyle has been doing things. Kyle, what have you been doing?
Basically, I'm starting a build hole of making the GTI all-wheel drive. I just bought a rear subframe. Yeah, rear subframe, a diff. Basically, this guy sold me like the whole cradle, like
whole
comes
rear
with
end.
axles, hubs, diff, everything, or the diff module. And there's a few other pieces I'm trying to source. It's kind of cool because the guy's a dismantler. So when he comes across, like a wrecked A3, S3, whatever, then he'll hit me up for the other things. But GTI is going all-wheel drive, so that's for
That's
sure.
fucking tight. So you'll actually be able to hook.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Because
I
you're
just
at
bought
what,
two.
560 now? Right now?
Well, right now it's 520 wheel.
Mm.
It's fucking ignorant.
Yeah. So I bought two Hoosiers. I think I'm gonna have to buy two more just because. And then we'll.
The way Kyle says Hoosiers makes me laugh. Is your family from Wisconsin originally? Hoosiers.
Wisconsin? No.
Wisconsin.
Shout out to my boy Tylenol pain reliever, the only man to ever rhyme Wisconsin with Wisconsin.
So that's happening. Also in the works, I have a local shop, water racing development. They are building me an engine up to 1,000 horse. I want a little room to breathe. Damn, Jamal.
That's it. You just
You choked on that shit.
I told you, bro. It's so
you
cool
just lightly said it like that. We
that
don't do that in California.
that
Like,
four
you just
digit
lightly
number
said
doesn't
it,
pop
like-
up. Like we
Yeah.
don't do that, dog. Like all my the fastest car when we were growing up was the homie who was making like 350 horsepower, dude.
And like he was milking the fuck out of that to
Do you
get to
remember?
350.
Do you remember when Donnie's
Right.
fucking S13 ran and we're like, damn, that bitch is pretty quick.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
got
it
something
doesn't
that high.
mean-
You flipping 350 in Cali. You were nervous every time you see a black and white. You're like, oh god,
He's
they're
gonna
gonna
hit
wreck
me.
me.
I don't.
You just
it
lightly say, "Yeah, it's building me
yeah,
1,000 horsepower." Like,
doesn't mean I'm going to make 1,000 horsepower right at the gate, right? Like that. Eventually, that's going to be car kept in the garage type of thing. I'll get a daily driver or whatever. But the goal right now with the built motor, um, equilibrium tuning, they're still developing their bigger turbo. I've been told I can get 700 with it, so we're still waiting on numbers. It's still kind of under hush hush, I guess.
Motherfucker talks
So
about his horsepower like people talk about crypto. We're still waiting on numbers.
yeah.
sit between me
So
and you.
yeah,
I'm bullish on horsepower.
Dude,
yeah.
do you understand how fucking ridiculous that is going to fucking be? Like,
No, I've never driven in a 700 horsepower Golf.
This is
before.
why I'm leaning on electric daily, because it's like
oh my god.
Kyle can do all this wild shit, and I can just pull up and be like, "You're still slow, bitch." But now,
Yeah,
for real, like
Crazy.
I saw Ken Block's e-tron today, and it like gave me hope,
Dude.
because like I had been like, I've been like checking out Polestars and shit for a daily,
Right.
and I was like,
They were
damn,
nice
like
too.
right, the
Those look
Polestar
nice.
2s are fucking super nice. The sedan, right?
Yeah.
So you get the performance. It has the Öhlins. It has the Brembos. There's already like a lowering spring kit that works with the factory Öhlins. It's like $600 for
Nice.
lowering springs. So that should explain to you some shit. And I was like, oh, dude, that put some aero discs on it and a fucking roof rack with a box, and that shit'll look fat as fuck. Like an inch lowered with some like futuristic ass wheels on it and shit. And then Ken Block comes out and he's like, e-tron GT aero discs, fucking box on the roof. And I'm like, I was right. I knew it.
Electric cars are cool again.
I'm a
bitch.
visionary. I'm just poor, so you can't like
Yeah,
a bunch of great ideas that never come to
You're just a
fruition.
guy
when
with
you're-
ideas.
When you're
That's
backed by
what-
Audi, you kind of don't stand a
that
chance.
dude's shit, or dude, I'm so stoked for that guy's new Gymkhana with the electric fucking Audi thing that they built,
Dude,
and
he's
that
gonna
thing.
smash the fuck out of that thing.
I just so like I'm like you trip on the
What if they wanna
sound,
do it
right?
off the sound? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's like the sound. It's like how's it gonna
Uh,
sound?
I mean,
Just
I've
play
ridden
music
it-
over. It's gonna be a music video.
Well, no,
No,
did
I
you?
mean, I've driven in the RS and I've driven in the Taycan. I mean, they make noise.
it's a fake
just not-
noise. It's a fake noise. It's a cool
No.
noise. It's a cool noise.
No, I mean, you do hear motor whine and that kind of stuff. It's
Right, but like
just
the
not-
noise that they project out the back end of those
Oh,
things.
that's bullshit. Fuck that.
But it
Yeah.
sounds cool. It
Fucking
sounds
dumb.
cool. It sounds cool. I'm into it. Like I'm with it.
No.
I also want to hear that
As
motherfucker
long,
coming.
as
That's all
long
I'm
as
saying.
you can, as long as you could program the synthetic noise to be like the Jetsons as they're like driving by.
That was my
Yeah,
see.
I would
That
do
was
that.
my thing
Yeah, I'd be
with
down for
the
that.
with the
I'm not gonna
Taycan
put a
was
V8 sound. in,
no.
like,
They don't
Oh,
make no.
fuck no.
electric.
Fuck,
No.
don't try to
No,
fucking
no,
sauce
no,
that
no.
shit
That's
up.
what I'm saying. It's like
Don't.
the Taycan didn't do that. Like the Taycan has an outside noise that it makes, but it doesn't sound like an engine.
No,
It's like
it doesn't sound like a motor.
like
yeah.
it's just like it's like a whir. It's like a whole
They
different
called it
thing.
Yeah.
fucking futuristic sound. I remember
Yeah,
Detective
and
Lynn
that's
was
what,
for
and
it.
that's why I
Like,
was cool
yeah.
with it. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, it sounds like it's going faster when it's going faster. It sounds like it's going slower when it's going slower, but it doesn't try to sound like an engine. And it's like individual. Like you would know a
Yeah.
Taycan when it's coming to that
Yeah.
degree. Like you could hear the sound, be like, oh, it's a fucking Taycan.
Yeah.
Like, so like I'm into that, right? Because that's what like you can do that shit with LSs and Coyotes, right? Like you hear somebody peel out and you're like, oh, it's a Yodi, or it's
Same
an
with Subaru,
LS,
Like,
right?
you
Or
fucking hear
right,
Subaru,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, because it goes
Yeah.
because then it broke, right? And then it but LSs sound like old mid 60s drag engines, and Yodis are super high strung and like they like bark a little
Yeah.
bit more, you know? And then Volkswagen sound like shit, and Subarus don't run most of the time, and Hondas sound like somebody's farting in a trash can, and like we can go on, right? Everything kind of has its own thing.
you know.
GTR sound like they're overpriced.
Why you just gotta throw it under the bus? Why? You were already fucking past the spot, and you threw the bitch in reverse. It's like, nah, I missed one. Let me get
Yeah.
that real quick.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
They
The-
sound like they're bored.
The bad said
That's
it's the Moxie similar. So yeah, the Mach-E makes the sound too. But what I was gonna say is, what gives me hope for like the future of like electric sound is, you remember that video, Jay, that Ford did, and it was like Chelsea Denofa, Von Gittin Jr., Miss Amelia, like all these fucking Ford sponsored drivers. I think LZ was in there, and
Yeah.
Vaughn was driving the 1400 wheel horsepower electric car that had like 7
Yeah.
fucking motors in it, and it sounded like just a giant angry fucking beehive. Just it sounded fucking ridiculous. Like it wasn't an engine sound, but it was just a very loud like
Yeah.
it wasn't
Like,
I'm
it
okay
was
with that.
it wasn't
Like a
churched up
whine.
at all. They were just like, we recorded the car from inside the cabin, and this is what it sounds like. And it was angry as fucking balls. And I was like, okay, like that's its own thing. I'm cool with that. Don't make the RC car try to sound like a V8, right? As long as it's not
Yeah,
doing that, I'm okay with it.
It fucking is.
I'm
what it
actually
is.
down with giving it like weird sounds. Since
Mhm.
you can program it to have a sound, like let me have like the ray gun from Call of Duty.
That would be funny. Or like the sound of Rick and Morty's ship just flying around.
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Right? Or like the Planet Express in Futurama, or like fucking
yeah,
whatever, you
or
know?
like you throw
Yeah.
it in reverse and like move bitch from Ludacris comes on the fucking.
That was
stereo
well,
shit.
that's like that was the thing with the Tesla horn. You can program the Tesla horn, right? And somebody put
Yeah. Move,
one person put
bitch.
"move
Yeah.
bitch" when they played, and somebody else just had their horn yell "Luda" whenever they and then
I
all
bet
the
you Luda got more
and then all the
sponsors.
folks in Florida, they have it yell "Dale" every time they hit the fucking. All right, it's been a great show, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We appreciate
Oh,
it.
I don't know
Showing
how I
up.
forgot about this. I did do car stuff. I put a fucking new steering wheel on the GTR.
You did, and it looked really good. Yeah,
It
it
looks
looked
even better
really.
now that I took off that other fucking hub too. By the way,
What hub did you put on? Did you get a Workspell one?
no, it's a
NRG.
fucking NRG,
Yeah.
just a quick release hub. But the hub that the Momo wheel sat on was ugly.
That was the
thing.
worst Momo wheel. By the way. That looks like a
I had
Ridge
sh-
Racer arcade game
Yeah,
from like
I had-
1999.
I had that same moment wheel in my VR6.
Dude, like legit. Like I asked my boss this today because his dad's from Japan and like he's been in Japan. I was like, what the fuck is the obsession with Momo with Japanese people? Because every fucking GTR has some kind of Momo like
That wheel,
steering
Yeah.
wheel.
that wheel, when you
leather,
hit
some bullshit.
when you hit the horn on that wheel, it yells "It never narked on nobody." every time.
That was the wheel strapped to the back of Lil Bow Wow's backpack in Tokyo Drift.
That is-
Shit, it was.
You
For
honk that
sure.
once, you get a Hulk fist right through the door. Just right. fucking-
Yeah.
Bitch.
Shit.
But no, the one this was mounted on from Japan, and then I added the quick release, just made it like I'm driving like this.
Yeah, that'll
So it was
happen.
too much. So I ordered another just like short hub from NRG, put it on, and like, dude, that thing is butter, and it drives like it feels so differently with that steering wheel.
The nicer
like-
wheel. That's your new wheel's
Yeah.
bigger too. That's the thing. So you have that mechanical leverage thing going on.
Kind of. I mean, like this thing is. What's different is like see how wide that grip shit is.
Yeah,
Like the Nardi is way smaller in that aspect.
I think
and
so. That like
this is a
that
bigger
looks
wheel than the Nardi.
like diameter wise.
Yeah.
Really, it looks
Yeah.
smaller.
Mm-mm.
So I had Jay. Remember, I had the Momo like drifting deep cone wheel, which was a
Yeah, you
sick
did have
ass
the
steering
Momo.
wheel. That was a sick ass steering wheel. But that was a lot more old school, like just racing style, like split 3-spoke, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
But because it was deep cone, anytime I had to put my blinker on, the first time this fool saw me do, he laughed his ass off because I'd literally have to go back and reach and like put the blinker on because the fucking
Dude, and that's what like
So
fucking
far out.
pissed me off. Is like I went to like turn the blinker and I couldn't reach.
Yeah, you
it
can't hit
holding
it,
The
yeah.
steering wheel, I was like,
Hey,
oh god, damn it, it's fucking shit.
so for you, Alex, coming full circle.
Uh,
Now, luckily, it's not my daily, but in the drift car, I have deep dish fucking wheel, bucket seat.
can't-
I'm strapped in for the blinker. I literally got to take my hand off the wheel and like reach all
It's
the way.
irritating as fuck.
but here's the thing, for like on a daily it's not great, but like back in the day I never built my car to be a daily. I built it as a race car that I drove every day.
Just drove it daily.
Just drove it
That's
every day.
true. That's very true.
So if
That's
you're
very
doing
true.
anything where you're like sideways or you're in a canyon and you're like moving, having the wheel right here is the shit, dog, because you're just like
Yeah.
fucking you're just dialed, right? And I remember, dude, I used to have a stupid ass bubble shift knob and like a really sloppy 5-speed transmission. So we're hauling ass through the canyons and I'm like, flap. And this fucking giant fucking shift knob's like flopping all the way through the canyon. How did I not kill us in that car, man? I really tried a couple
Dude,
times
we
too.
drove that shit to Frisco.
We did try. Yeah, we drove my
Oh,
shitbox to San
we
Francisco.
drove to Frisco. This jackass puts the child safety locks on the windows.
Oh, that shit
So
was
the
so
whole
funny.
time, I don't know that the passenger side window, like, he was like, "Dude, I think the motor went out."
Yo,
So
my
the
bad.
whole
Like
drive to
legit, I
Frisco,
thought it was so.
like
Okay, we smoked a lot of weed on the ride up to San Francisco. We smoked and so my 240 had the sunroof, which was tight, right? Like that thing
it
was
was not enough.
it was like, well, no, like that car was like, oh, see, that's dope. It was
Yeah, I
it was
forgot
a
to kick
piece
it
of
off.
shit, but like for what it was, it handled really well and like it was set up nice or whatever, right? And it had power windows, power locks, and a sunroof, even though the door and the hatch were a different color and it had obviously been pinched in the back end and, a bunch of other 185,000-mile car things. But it had the sunroof, which on those cars is tight because it was like the pop up one, right? And then you can take it off. Like you can pull a couple of pins and you
Oh,
can just take it off and you just have a big open hole in your ceiling. But
yeah.
because there's no cartridge, it's not any heavier than like a non sunroof car, right? You don't have the mechanics. It's just a stupid fucking window.
Little pop. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're driving to San Francisco. And the funny thing is, and I think I've told the story before, but we're driving and we're on the 5, right? And my car's stupid loud. I had like one of the old Duloc exhausts that pointed down because you're supposed to point it down to make it quieter. Well, I was ignorant and I turned it the other way and pointed it up, so it was just loud as fuck all over the place. And we're following my buddy Zach in his straight piped fucking B16 VTEC Integra, which was loud and ignorant as fuck. So we're doing like 75 on the 5 for like 150 miles. And Jay's window doesn't roll down because I think that motor blew out because it's old. And I didn't realize that my dumbass had the child safety locks turned on, so he just couldn't roll the window down. So I have my window down and I'm chilling. And he's like, bro, it's fucking whack over here.
How long did it take you to realize that?
Till we got
I think
on the
we were
way
on the
back from
drive back.
No, we
Yeah.
got no, even better. No,
Yeah.
even better. We had just gotten back into LA. We got all the way back and I figured it out. The
Fuck
child
that
safety.
shit.
But the funniest thing was on the way out to San
And
Francisco.
y'all
We're,
still friends?
dude, listen, bro,
Man.
seen some shit. So we're driving, we're driving out there, and we're stopping at places and checking shit out because none of us had ever made the drive before, right? And we're trying to be cool because we're like, oh, there's gonna be cops, man. We don't want to get pulled over. Like neither one of our cars are technically legal. You know what I mean? Like this is a bad look.
Weed is not legal.
Yeah, like you know.
Marriage
And
is
this
one of them.
fucking soccer mom in an Odyssey with her like 7 kids in it comes flying by at 95 miles an hour. And I just kind of looked at it and I called my buddy Zach and I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna go for it, dog. So
At this point,
it took us 8 hours to get from LA to SF, stopping and like fucking around. When we came back, we got home in like 4.5 hours.
uh-huh.
We were doing
left at what, like 5?
We left
6
at
o'clock in the
5 and we
morning?
were home at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Yeah, because we were doing like
Yeah.
$1.10 the whole way. Just like fuck
Yeah.
it. Like we're
Nice.
just going for it. Can't imagine why the engine in that 185,000 mile 240 blew 6 months after that. But
Yeah, you know. Shit happens.
5 hours at sustained red line doing 110
Right.
miles an hour.
You plateaued that car twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. Still ran though. And I straight up crashed.
We've all
And
been
I
there.
straight up crashed it once. Like straight up
Oh.
crashed it once.
I
And then still put it back together.
I never got into drifting, but I always had my little fucking race car with a Honda, it was a Civic Si, and I beat the living shit out of that car.
I think
Like
all
it
of
got
us did,
redlined
yeah.
everywhere. It fucking we went. Fucking VTEC was always fucking bah, 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 like constantly. Like I remember checking the dipstick one time and there was like nothing on it. And I was like, oh,
I think Jay and I Jay
And,
can
like,
agree
the
with me
bitch
on this.
is,
Is like
it just ran. Like
drifting
Honda.
is one of those things for I think Jamal did like because you did the drift work shit for a bit, but like that was something that we like got to do and didn't get to do and like never really got to hit his stride in doing. And I think both of us have been like really wanting to just be in a position to hit a stride doing it consistently ever since because it's fucking cool. And it's like,
Drifting?
yeah.
Yeah.
And like it's not expensive in a sense, but it is expensive when you have other shit you also have to deal with. And
Right.
that's like the
Yeah.
biggest thing. So to that point, Jamal, I followed a Mustang today. And it wasn't a new Edge. It was when they had first brought back
Sweet.
the 5.0s. No, I was on the road. He was just in front of me.
So like the 2009.
No, like the
2010?
14s, like the 11 to 14s.
Like the newer-ish body
Yeah,
style.
yeah. But they're like pretty cheap now. They're not crazy expensive, and it's a 5.0, and it's like that's pretty sick. Because I think that like the Camaro is objectively a better car. Performance numbers only before Jamal flies off the fucking handle. Just on a piece of paper. On a piece of paper, if you put all the metrics together and all the track records and all the other shit, right? The Camaro is a better car
Okay.
in that realm. On a
right.
drive it every day, use it all the time, be able to see out of it.
And on paper, the Lakers aren't a good team. So what's up?
I mean, that's also fair. But I'm just saying, like, I love the Camaro, but I think if I'm actually trying to use the thing, I would probably rather own the Mustang, just because I can see out of it. Mainly, number one thing, because Camaros are fucking scary because you can't see what's going on. And I followed behind the scene. I was like, damn, that'd be tight. Like, let's get a fuck around car, you know. Especially when
I don't know why you're. Yeah, like you drove my car and said the same thing.
Yeah, that was like
that
15
night we
years
went out
ago.
And I got
that was like 15 years ago.
I let you drive my car. Yeah, but the next day you were like, yo, I see why people drive Mustangs. I was like,
There's a nice car.
It's fucking cheap, bro.
Not anymore, dude.
Parts
I looked
everywhere.
I looked for
expensive.
this is how fucked our car market is. I looked for like a 2002 New Edge Mustang GT, which is like it's got a shit engine in it by comparison, whatever, right? They're fucking the cheapest one I could find was $6,500.
Lord,
that's crazy.
Can you imagine that shit? $6,500 for that car?
How many miles?
235,000. Like some fucking like oxidized
something
paint
absurd.
and interior shredded, like just not a great car. You know what I mean?
I know what I got.
Yo, okay, so my convertible I bought a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
120 no, something higher. 100 and whatever high something number. 2,500. No, $2,000. Flip the coin with the guy for $500.
Love that. You bought
Did you
the
really
other one?
hold on, you flipped a coin, like legit was like, if I win, you give me 500 off the cost.
It was his idea. Like
shit. Okay.
I hit him up and I was like, how about I come with, he listed it for 25. I was like, how about I come with $2,000 cash? Or like when I showed up, I was like, I got $2,000. Like, what do we say? And he was like, oh, you seem like a straight up dude. How about we just flip a coin? I was like, okay.
That's legit.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
So my
opinion, I'm gonna be an asshole with a double-sided coin. I'm gonna use that tactic.
Okay, here comes Kyle.
How very white of you.
Right? You had to take advantage of the system.
You get
Hey.
I get half of the United States. You get 13 beats.
Boom.
Sold.
Yeah.
My opinion. So not only did he buy that running and driving Mustang GT for $2,000, he got a running, driving, stripped out, chassis work done to it Mustang GT for like 2Gs, another 2Gs?
Yeah, 22.
Full Maximum Motorsports or MA Motorsports like suspension package, like subframe connectors, like the whole fucking 9 yards.
Nice.
What the fuck?
So my opinion of Jamal's situation.
Kind of fucking deals like that around here.
Bitch, you have $6,000 suspension on your STI.
That I didn't pay $6,000 for.
That's my point.
That's the deal. Okay.
8 years ago. That's the only deal I've ever gotten. Come on. You got two right there. Fuck.
Bitch, you bought a GTR for 55 grand in 2020. Like, that's a deal. Like,
That's a
That is
stupid
a
deal.
deal.
for an R33 for a legit Skyline, that is a deal. And that one things was pretty clean. You had to do what? Like put a little money in the interior, change the steering wheel, put a head unit in it, and some speakers. You're what? Like maybe $1,500 into that car right now?
Not even.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Just saying. Like the bitch is worth 70 grand. Shut the fuck up. Like,
Keep going.
nobody wants to hear about your appreciating assets in this fucking economy.
Don't be mad 'cause I made a good business decision. And I
Anyway,
enjoy the
It
fuck
looks
out
like
of it.
I did
That's a-
too.
that's a great
Yes,
car.
you
Yeah,
did.
shit, you did.
I mean, bro, damn, that's a fucking deal.
That's
I'm
literally
trying
like
to
a
explain this shit to my
400% come
girlfriend,
up
'cause
right
she's like,
now.
"Why do you have 3 Mustangs?" I'm like, "Look, just chill out. These things are
The other
worth
two break
something
down.
now." I was like, "If I have to, I will sell one, but we're not talking
Here's what
about
you don't
that."
understand, babe, about Mustangs. 1 makes you a douchebag. 2 makes you a creep. 3 makes you a collector.
Oh my god.
It's just the rules, babe. Bing bong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, once you
Um,
hit 3, I mean, you're considered a
You're a
fucking
collector. I am a collector.
You're a G.
You're an
Right.
aficionado. You know?
Right.
You're
Okay.
like a Mustang sommelier.
Real quick, side note: does any of you guys watch Adam LZ's like videos?
Not religiously. He's a cool guy. I
No.
respect him. I think he's
Yeah.
tight, but I don't
So have
really
you
watch his
seen?
shit.
Have you seen his Florida compound?
Yes, that I have seen.
Yeah,
It's
I saw that
asinine.
video.
It's asinine.
So I watched this video the other day. I'm sorry for the side note. It was basically this guy, and he was storing his rare BMW collection there. Right? He had M3s. I don't know generations of BMWs, but they were all like very specific colors, options, like super rare cars. Right? This is a collection of cars he has. Fucking Adam LZ has one of the buildings on his fucking property that literally has, I think, 50 lifts in it.
I've seen that. He's got the double stackers.
25 and 25.
Yeah.
And so basically you can drive a car on, drive it off, drive it on another lift and raise it up, and then put another car on, raise it up, and drive 2 cars underneath.
Yeah.
That motherfucker can store how many fucking cars? Over 200 cars in one fucking building.
That
at
was
his fucking
super.
facility.
But do you understand how fucking smart that is?
Brilliant. I mean, if
He's
you watch,
paying
if you go
for
back,
that whole compound in car storage.
Well, I
10
mean,
cents.
yeah, exactly. And if you go back and
Yeah.
if you watch the video where he explains like the cost, the dude's fucking stole the place. Like it was on the market for years for like, I think it started off at like 10 million, and then it just trickled down to, I think it got to like 5 million. It'd been sitting there for like 3 years, and he's like, I think he paid under $2 million for the entire place.
It's a fucking steal. Because at the end of the day, it's like, who wants a
Yeah.
bunch of storage space in the fucking Everglades, in the middle of
For
fucking
cars,
Everglades?
Right.
for
Yeah,
cars,
you know,
right? Like, I
exactly,
mean,
yeah.
I mean, whoever lived there before, which I didn't do the research, but whoever lived there before, must have been like,
Well, you think about it too, is like he's got an up. It's like, oh, where do you store your car for Florida? Oh, I store it at Adam LZ's place.
you're right.
Right? That's like a thing.
My
Like,
car on the East Coast is on at
it's right.
MLB's.
Well, that's even
Exactly.
better point. Jamal's got a better point, especially if you're like, if you're on the damn, this is actually a big brain thought. If you're on the Pro-Am circuit and you like to run in multiple regions,
Yeah.
it is almost cheaper to have 4 cars and store them than it is
Yeah.
to try and ship 1 car all over the country.
Yeah.
There's guys that are weird about that, but that's a great
But
point.
it's like you pay $40,000 on a rig. I could build 4 drift cars for 10 grand.
True.
Yeah.
For a,
I mean,
for a Pro-Am
teams have
circuit,
been
I could
doing it forever.
I could build 4 Pro-Am level drift cars for 10 grand.
Well, yeah, and then you
Falcon
look
was
at,
leaving Vaughn's cars all over the fucking place.
Yeah. Damn. Wow.
I mean,
You're
you
here
look at
first.
guys
Folks.
that coming out of the country all the time too. Like they can
Yeah.
store cars there and like fucking swing in, pick
Well,
one up.
like Matt Farah, and I don't know if you've seen this place. It's
In
on La
LA?
Cienega, Jamal. Jesus, I talk to my kids too much. So Matt Farah from the Smoking Tire, he opened a car storage place, West Side Collector Car Storage. Right, it's off. Oh no, it's off Staten Island. My bad.
I try not to go to LA as much as possible.
Like deep in the fucking West Side. Yeah, it's a fucking shit show trying to get into another. But yeah, his whole thing is like we store collector cars. He
Sure.
paid I don't know how much money
A lot of money.
to have this street graded into his underground driveway so you can pull like you can roll up there like a Lamborghini SVJ right off the street, up the ramp, and into the underground parking lot, and it does not scrape.
Okay.
So he had everything like professionally leveled out to where it's just like perfect for supercars. And his thing is like, I'll store your shit. We'll pick you up from the airport. We'll bring you out here, put you in your whip while you're out here. We'll detail it for you. If you want to sell your car, we can fucking list your car and have it available to be looked at for all your other shit. We can service it. I can get it sent to this and that. We have a fucking cigar bar in the place.
Yeah.
Right? So he just made this like, he's like, I know rich fuckers like to keep cars all over the country and they don't want to have to worry about it. And I can detail them, have it ready. You tell me when you're going to be in town. I get the car prepped, make sure it's warmed up, battery charged, good to go, pick you up, bring you to it, drive it around, drop it off, fucking take off.
Yeah.
It's fucking genius. It's fucking genius.
Yeah.
Smart.
And like, you know, and the dude, and I was listening to an episode that he did and he talked about like, and this is the type of shit in businessmen I respect.
What's his insurance on that though?
That's so much.
a lot.
But it's corporate, so whatever. His dad is like a CEO level dude, ran Ralph Lauren for years, all this other shit. And he's who he got the investment capital from, I guess, to start this whole business. That's a multi-million. He built the building. Bro, he built the building on La Cienega. Think about that shit,
had
homie.
to be.
I'm not saying no.
I mean,
You know what I'm
with
saying?
the
Like
lifts, all of that. That had to be probably what, 10 million.
No. The property on the west side of
Oh.
Los Angeles, adjacent to LAX.
What's 10 million?
Astronomical, dude, right? Plus just trying to build anything from the ground up in Los Angeles with all of the bullshit rules that you have to follow. So like if you rebuild a building in Los Angeles, you are required to replace every inch of sidewalk in front of that building.
What?
Yeah.
I love that
Yes.
response.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
That is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever
It's
heard
their
in my
way
life.
of repairing the sidewalks without having to tax people for it.
Yeah.
Because obviously, you know, they do a great job of keeping taxes down in Southern California. Anyway, so yeah, so he had to do all this shit. So he had a giant
What
investment.
the
So,
fuck?
but check this shit out. This is how fucking smart this dude is.
Why do business in California?
Because sunshine's free and weed is legal.
Facts.
So he built the building so that in the event that the business failed,
Mhm.
he could retrofit it to an office building with underground parking and zero
Oh,
out.
Nice.
He's like,
Oh,
you
nice.
put up 6 walls and repaint the place, and I can sell it as an office building. Like,
Yeah.
fucking,
Okay.
he's like, it's got internet all through the whole building, everything's set up, infrastructure done, like, good to go. Sell the building. Like, that's fucking genius.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He's like, I had 2 sets of plans drawn up, and I can retrofit one to the other if this thing sucks.
Which it doesn't. He's got all
It
kinds
obviously
of clients
no,
for that
dude.
shit.
He just opened another spot. He bought another fucking place.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got
He
all
bought
kinds
another-
of clients for that shit.
And it's like, dude, fucking good on you, mate. That's tight. I like that shit. Like finding something in the vein of automobiles to do. Like, dude, when I moved out here, I was thinking about getting into doing like custom garages and shit.
Ooh, nice.
Dude, that's not a badass idea.
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. But yeah, dude, you imagine trying to do any job based on material costs right now? Fuck that shit, dude.
No. I'm good.
I thought about after getting out of the military, where I was at, they had like a hobby shop,
Okay.
or like a do-it-yourself shop. So you like, you know, you sign a waiver, you bring your car in whenever you want, throw it on the lift. And, you know, guys could be there. They can rack their car for 2 or 3 days, and just do your project. So you just pay for basically a rack.
That's fucking tight,
Yeah,
actually.
it's down in like San Diego, right?
I was North Carolina, but I think the Camp Pendleton or most military bases, I think, have that.
Yeah.
They have one down in San Diego or like
It's like community
Lake
garage.
Elsinore. That
Yeah.
it's so
They
goddamn
treat it
far.
like a library. Like they treat it like you check out tools and whatever. I mean, it was the same shit when we went to
I
school, Jay,
remember-
and you did the same
I
shit, right, Kyle?
remember- Fuck is
What's
What's
up?
that?
When you went to UTI or Wild Tech?
Wild Tech.
Yeah, so you used to check out tools from the cage, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
It was the same type
like
of
you-
shit.
Right.
Yeah. What are you saying, Mike?
I remember when I first got into like Subarus and I was on Naziok all the time, and there's tons of dudes, military dudes from Japan. I remember like kind of what Kyle was talking about, like they had like these like rentable like lift garage things that you could like they could bring their cars in and like you said for like 5 days rent it and then rip the fucking thing apart, put it all back together, and then have this like fucking badass car. Like I didn't realize that shit had really existed. Like I always thought that was a great idea, but like here in the United States, like I can see like the military could get away with it. I don't really know if you could do that like as a public thing. Like Jamal's talking about
Probably
like
some like reliability.
insurance and liability kind of
Well,
shit.
here's
like, you know what I mean?
here's the thing though, like if you approach it like a subscription thing, like even and like Jay and I had looked into this like years ago, right? Like you try to rent a shop space just for you and the
Ugh.
homies, right? Like you in an industrial park somewhere with a roll up, right, or whatever. 2-3 grand a month. You got to put your own tools in it. You got to put a lift in it. You know what I mean? You got to pay for electricity in that bitch. You got to pay for water because obviously dude's got a shit, whatever, right? And now you're spending time and money because you're down there and you're buying beer and you're drinking pizza and whatever.
Drinking
pizza.
pizza.
Drinking, I
Drinking
said it.
pizza.
I saw it. I heard it come out of my
Yeah.
mouth, and we were already.
Don't, you ain't gonna blow past
Valoria
that.
used to
You
be a
ain't gonna
big
blow
boy.
past that. Come
I
on
used to be a big old fat boy. Yeah.
We all
That's how fast we were
blend up.
eating pizzas.
Bro.
Blend up your pizza.
shit.
This fool would like literally hit me up, be like, "Yo, it's FT. What are you doing today?" And I was like, "Shit." And he'd like roll down, and we'd go get like 2 or 3 Little Caesars pizzas, and like, I always used to have racks of beer. Jay will attest to this. Remember that one time I had a mini fridge full of Colt 45, like just Colt 45 tall cans.
Jesus.
So my homie Mike G from back in the day, this fool used to do work with FYF Fest, which is like a music festival down there. And one of them was sponsored by Colt 45, and this dude didn't drink. And he lived in my apartment building, and he calls me one day and he goes, "Yo," he's like, "I got like 64 cans of Colt 45. Do you want them?" And I was like, I mean, yeah. Like,
Yeah. Is that a real question?
yeah. And he rolls by my
Or-
crib with 64 fucking tall cans of Colt 45, dog.
Yes.
So I was calling everybody that I knew because I was like, this is too much beer, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, what are y'all doing? You trying to drink some Colt 45? Like, anyway.
But you gotta get fucked up right now.
yeah, he calls me, he rolls over, and we literally just like shotgun beers for one more times, which I don't know if you guys know what a one more time is in
Oh
drifting.
god, we used to
remember-
get waste.
Just shotgunning Bud Lights. So in drifting, there's you do there's a battle.
You do a lead, you do a chase.
Yeah. You do a lead, you do a chase, and the judges decide who won. If they can't decide who wins, they do it one more time, meaning you run the whole thing over again. So every time they'd run it one more time, we'd shotgun a Bud Light. Well, this one event at Road Atlanta in like 2012, there was like 7 or 8 one more times. So we're
In the first
shotgunning.
round.
We're shotgunning like
Oh
7
my
or 8
god,
Bud
dude.
Lights.
Fuck.
And mind you, we're still like pounding 40s and smoking weed and doing all types of
Bong
ignorant.
tea, yeah.
Yeah, we're just fucking like it's like 1:30 in the afternoon and I'm annihilated, my dude. Like absolutely.
No
fucking
plans of leaving Alex's
Yeah.
couch.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Somebody's joining, and based on that picture, I'm assuming it's Captain NFT himself, but we'll see. Where is he? Let me see him.
Processing.
Processing.
Coming in hot.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
What up?
Lenny. Why do you
Yeah.
God damn it.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a caipirinha.
Looks like you're drinking milk.
Nah.
Oh, there.
Oh, looks
so
like
far
a
away.
yeah. Looks like somebody jizzed in a mojito.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, it looks good.
That's a way to say hello.
Citrusy. How you doing,
Well
We're
man?
just talking about NFTs.
Welcome.
No, I just
Don't start.
I
You
just
guys
saw
heard of
it.
NFTs?
Oh my god.
No.
So there's this thing called the blockchain, right?
Oh, no.
Everybody's gonna be on it one day.
I look forward to our hour-long
So you
blockchain
paid me
NFT
for a
conversation
picture.
after this fucking podcast, Lenny.
Oh, let's not do that.
The last time Lenny's on the show, somehow he and I get into this legitimate hour-long discussion about NFTs, and they're like just the whole thing. And it's
Right.
like 12:30, and I'm like, why am I awake talking about that?
I have no idea why I was talking about it either.
You were so
Oh, no,
passionate,
yeah,
man. I
yeah.
felt like I had to engage, you know? It was a thing. I felt important about it. So you
Definitely.
drove Kyle's car.
I did.
Thoughts?
It's amazing. It shouldn't do the things it does.
It's very great,
Quite
right?
frankly,
Yeah.
yeah.
So so
We
as
got yeah.
yeah, no, I know you have a whole episode about it. I need to go listen to it. But shout out Zero Live Podcast. So the first thing that struck me about Kyle's car was how refined it is. And granted, this was like when he was 200 horsepower less. But when you compare it to like a modded Japanese car, it felt a lot more composed. And granted, I don't drive a GTR, but like STIs are bitey, right? Like, you can put them through a corner really fast, but they kind of yank. You know what I mean? Like you dive in and the car's like, you're fucking going, bitch. And even when I rode in my GTR, I could feel like the car just kind of smooths out a lot of those inputs on its own. The
Yeah.
chassis is just a little less darty, right? It'll still handle the same type of shit, but it just does it a little bit smoother than like what my STI would do. But in Kyle's car, when he's getting on, just the ride quality and shit, I was like, yo, this is very like
Hold on.
didn't lose a lot of factory goodness.
Yeah. What I would have to say is the smoothness, like you said, is I would say in the suspension that I think Kyle
Mhm.
just changed out. He was on some coilovers. Now he's just on the what springs are you on now, Kyle? Or are you back on the coilers?
Yeah, I'm on the. I had a WRD's like they were trying to figure out to make their own set for their shop, but I switched over. I bought the Bilstein B16 PSS 10 coilovers, the adjustable valving. And for that day, I turned the valves up front all the way to max, and I turned the rears to like 7 out of 10. And that was coming from the other guy, Kyle, that we on the show. He does all his track. He does a lot of track time, and that's what he recommended. So I turned that up just for that day.
You talking about Gurney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And honestly, that was the first time on the Bilsteins, and the Twisties, and it felt so good, like the way it handled and responded through the corners.
You had him on that time but it was raining, so I guess that wasn't really like a great. When it was like me, you, Mike, and like your uncle or whatever.
Yeah, I did have him, but it was the roads were all wet, so we couldn't like really get in on it.
That was a fun day though.
It was still fun to drive out there, but
yeah.
I gotta say, I appreciate you driving the way you did with me as a passenger on the way to Lake Berryessa.
Yeah,
because it definitely made me a little bit more comfortable in the car. There were some points there that I'm like, "There's no way he's making it. He's not making it. He's not making it." Oh my god, he made it! How did this car just pull through the turn like that? What?
Dude, I have so much like respect for you riding right seat. I fucking hate riding right seat, dude.
I honestly do too, and I drove up there. Initially I was gonna let Lenny drive there, and then I drive back, but I wanted him to really understand like what the car is doing. While we're in the twisties and having fun. And he wasn't even paying attention to the road really. Like he was more paying attention to my shift points, where I was keeping my RPM. when I was braking, when I was accelerating through the corner.
The important shit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, all the important stuff for sure. And he picked up really good. I told him my tires. I was like, they take a little bit to warm up. Just be cautious of that. But once those tires warm up, man, they grip really well.
What are you on that thing right now?
Tires. Right now I'm on the Nitto G2s, the
Okay.
triple five G2s. Their track tire.
Yeah.
Which on Zero Lift, I don't know who said it, but I think you guys looked up the 555Rs and not the G2s when you guys were talking about it. But
did John look up the 555Rs?
He did, yeah. When he was talking about it, I was listening. I was like, oh, he got the Rs.
Yeah, because he said they were drag radials, right?
Yeah, right. So I was like, oh, he looked up the wrong shit. But
I'll have to do an.
Yo, that would have been fucking. That would have been giant balls play roll through the canyon out fucking drag race. I know. I was there. Yes. In the rain, this fucking ignorant son of a bitch is like, I'm going to take my 500 horsepower front wheel drive car in the rain on drag radials. Let's go.
And he did.
And I'm behind it. Mike's in the GTR. And it was like the first time Mike has taken the GTR out, really. So he was pretty conservative with it, which obviously, yes.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to go so bad.
But Kyle's uncle had just like gotten his E85 done in his WRX. And like I'm just watching. Go ahead.
Fast. Yeah,
he was doing it. He was doing his thing. He was doing his thing. But I see Kyle, and every once in a while, Kyle comes around a turn, and you can just see when he gives it a little too much because it's a little bit of this.
Like, oh shit!
No, he was cool, but you could just see the front ends like dancing around a little bit. Right?
It was. I mean, the front. They're so soft up front, and I don't recommend that to anybody. I was just being ignorant.
That was a real dumb thing you did, sir. But you're live, so fuck it, whatever.
Yeah.
No, it was
really
fun.
Way
to live, by the way.
Yeah.
You're alive, so fuck it.
Yeah. That's it.
But
how'd you?
So
don't listen. I already plugged your pod. Don't do that.
Don't
hashtag in my shit.
You motherfucker. Don't follow these guys.
Sorry. That's once. I get once. I'm once.
How'd you feel about the clutch?
Super easy. Like no issues.
It's very like light, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to caveat all of that. I come from a world now almost more than 10 years. I've had the GTR for 10 years, which is crazy to think. Wow, time flies.
You've had your car longer than I've had my kid.
That's crazy. The GTR has always had a twin plate clutch, and so that's always
okay. Yeah,
sort of
everything's gonna feel easy by comparison.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I've driven some triple plated clutches, which
butter pedal.
Talking about a leg workout.
Yeah, that's
I had no issues with Kyle's GTI.
I've always thought that like I've driven like Golf Rs, and until you get into like I drove an older manual Porsche, but I feel like anything like Volkswagen, the few Audis I've driven that had, because like my buddy had like a B4 S4 Avant, I think that's right, the old S4 wagons.
Mm-hmm.
The clutches were always super light, and there's like no like kickover point, right? You just basically learn where the clutch engages based on where your foot is. Yep. There's no like real feedback as to, and I don't know with Kyle's clutch setup if there is, but I was just curious how you felt about it, because that's what I've always liked about Japanese cars is there's like Japanese cars, there's like a fixed, you can feel when the bells. Yeah, you can feel when the bell spring is curling, right? You can feel when that like you've overcome that leverage and now it's starting to release the plate, and you can kind of ride. So like for launches, you can ride that a little bit until it grabs, and you can do, you know what I mean? And with German cars, I was always just like, well, I think right about here is where it's gonna do its thing, right? And my curiosity is always with like high horsepower, how that translates.
Yeah. No, it still felt very natural. The friction point was that at like a natural foot position, and so
like, whether or not like the tactile thing was there, you were just kind of like used to the That
Yeah.
makes sense. Because I worry about like I
Yeah.
no, go ahead.
Right. Oh no, I was gonna trash on Kyle's one point of the car that I didn't like at all was the
Was it that Kyle was in it?
no, the brake pedal to the accelerator.
Yeah.
It's at a different length, and so
Mhm.
and it's at such a great length.
Oh, that
That
reminds
like
me.
heel
It's hard to
toe,
heel toe, yeah.
super
So-
hard to heel toe.
So I
I
actually
need that piece. I need your piece.
my piece?
The what you're about to talk about.
Yeah, I'll shoot you the link. So that was the first thing. So my 15 STI, I never did anything to it, right? So when I bought my 19, I was like, this needs to get addressed because it's the, and I think it's probably the same issue in Kyle's car, is that the clutch and the brake are hydraulic, obviously, right? And the throttle is by wire. So like I just feel like it's always inset farther back just by nature of how those systems
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
So like 14 fucking days after I bought my STI, Varus Manufacturing makes legitimately it's just a 1-inch piece of billet aluminum. And it just basically pushes your fucking gas pedal out to make it
Oh,
flat
wow.
with everything else. So that I could heel toe and like, and I know Kyle heel toes it. I know that like he's like adapted to it, but I roll my feet when I heel toe. So I brake with the ball and roll my heel into the gas pedal. And versus like, I know a lot of people do it the opposite way. You'll put your heel on the brake pedal and roll your ball into the gas pedal, but that's just not how I do it. Right. So like, I could never get over it. So that shit was like a lifesaver. Cause like, I'll just fucking heel toe driving around town. Cause it's like such a smooth motion at this point.
In that car, because the depth is so different, I will actually roll my foot. I won't even
Over?
roll my heel over.
Yeah.
So as I'm braking, it gets level with the gas pedal, and then I just roll the side of my foot over. I find
Okay.
that that's just like the easiest to do it.
What I have
I'm
to
more
do
of
with
like a
STI.
stabby kind of like real quick, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So wow and just fucking on and off.
Yeah.
So
Halfway
it just
point,
what happened?
by the halfway point of that Lake Berryessa Road, I was like braking with half of my foot.
Yeah.
Then so the movement wasn't as much.
Egregious. Yeah.
Yeah, so like at least I could brake and rev match. Hashtag
Rev Match Podcast. Got it.
Here we go.
Hey.
Fucking got him.
And so yeah, you got it. And
Appreciate that.
like I learned that pretty quick. I adapted to that pretty quickly in the car, and that was just another testament to how smooth Kyle's car is because I was able to not have to brake as much into the corner and just let the suspension and the wave track LSD that he's got do all the work while keeping the speed. That split second in time is all I needed to be able to move my foot onto the gas. And
Well, I mean, yeah, you can the fact that you can focus on making that adjustment, right? That the rest of the car is like comfortable enough that you're like actually pay attention to what your feet are doing at the very minute level. That was the hardest thing for me to learn, honestly, performance driving period was like throttle control. And when I mean throttle control, I mean not letting what the car is doing physically upset what your foot is doing to the gas pedal.
Yeah.
Right? Like you go over a bump, you don't want to jam your foot into the fucking throttle, like reacting to how the car is unsettled, right?
Mhm.
So that was the not gonna lie, I learned that shit from Initial D, but like when he was like his throttle
Some
control,
of those
it's so
technical- yeah, a lot of
precise.
those-
It's millimeters, even across these windy
Fucking
country roads.
Simpsons.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, yo, so I need to pay attention to what my right foot's doing, like and like where I'm, you know what I mean?
But that
So-
drive we went on,
It was fun.
That's tight.
Yeah, it was very fun.
That's tight.
That was
Yeah,
the-
I mean,
that was
the GTR's like
well, yeah, I would love to. That was my first real drive with the STI though, too.
the new one.
Yes.
Isn't it so much different?
It's so different. Like to the point, like it's gonna be scary when I have more power.
The chassis is
I was-
really balanced.
I was not
Hmm.
far from Timmy, and I wish Timmy was here to talk about it because like we got to a point where we like Timmy and I kind of like took off from the other two cars, and Timmy was not losing me, and like we were
Going
fucking
for it?
railing the shit out of it. I'm gonna go
How's
with his
the-
suggestion.
How's the road? Like, was it like was it like Mosquito Ridge technical, or was it more stubs, or like, is it somewhere in between?
I would call it in between. I don't think it's as technical in some points. I think there's a good stretch of technical. There's like towards the very back end, because then it pops you out in like, I guess, like farmland area kind of.
Okay.
Like, and so like it's a very technical road to a certain point, then it kind of straightens out, and then it gets very technical again. And then it kind of pops you again out into a town where you kind of get back on the freeway and then go
Yeah.
back home. Super solid run. We ran into fog, which was the only shitty part.
It's always sketchy.
Sketch a little bit. We had to slow down a little bit, but other than that, I mean, dude, it was.
Super
That's
fun.
that's
love
one of
to do it
those.
again.
That's one
Especially
of those.
GTRs. Hands down, hell yeah.
I fucking the fact that you like, oh, we should go run our GT. Anyway, just pure. It's just pure fucking jealousy.
I'm
on
sorry. Hey,
Um,
at least mine's on the road. Somebody is slacking. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, he's because he's gonna sell it for NFTs anyway.
No, NFTs are going to pay for the restoration of it. Is what the real deal is.
Until you realize they're all sold in Russia and they have no fucking economy anymore. But no, it's funny, like you bring up the fog, because even like that time we ran in the rain, it got foggy, and I was like, oh man, let's just chill out, right? Everybody's gonna play it cool. And then I think back, Jamal, we were like, oh, let's go run GMR in the dark. Like,
Yeah.
Right?
It was a nighttime event.
we used to do that shit like every Friday night at 1 o'clock in the morning. This motherfucker, do you remember? You'll probably remember this. There's that one. So you remember there was that like real hard right hairpin that we would miss all the time, like halfway through, and that takes you. So there's the road forks, right? And you can go
Oh yeah.
straight.
At the
And like
top.
there was a couple of times we like e-brake ripped it and swung it around or whatever, right? Because it was just like, or I'd slam on the brakes and turn it back or whatever, because we'd miss it. You just like you're on this run. You come up through like a
Yeah.
bit of a neighborhood through GMR. There's like the 4 houses out there, and then you miss this hard right hander to take you up to like the plateau where the ridge road is. So basically, like it forks down here, and then it goes up the mountain another like 6 or 7 miles, and there's like a big flat spot, and then there's a 1-lane road that runs along the top ridge of the mountain range, right?
Yeah.
That runs around that whole thing. So you'd be chilling there on with your cars and drinking, and everybody's hanging out, and then every once in a while you see cars coming through because they're running the ridge ring, right? So we get past that right hander, and you come around, there's like a reservoir up there, and there's a car coming the other. I was splitting lanes. I'm not gonna lie. I was splitting lanes at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we come around this. Yeah, like it fucking is what it is, right? So I come around. It's a left-hander, so I clip the apex around the mountain, wrong side of the road, right? Coming back out, and there's a BMW fucking hauling ass, right? And so I kind of like as I come around the apex, I can see it, so I just let the car go wide, right?
Right.
And when I tell you that we did this with side mirrors, at like, I was probably doing 35, 40, and he was probably doing 65. And we're on the top, like pretty close to, like if he would have slammed straight into me, we would have pushed me off the side of the road, like off the side of a mountain into like water. Like it would have been fucking.
Your butthole was about yay big. Right, yay big.
This fool's in the car with me. I'm bumping like DJ AM, and Travis Barker. We've been drinking all night. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
by the way, kids, do not do this shit at home.
Please don't. Please don't.
Please don't do this shit. The sideshows are enough. Please don't do this shit at home.
Yeah, do not go sketchy canyon running at 1 o'clock.
No. Go sketchy canyon running. Don't go to the side shows. That's fuckery.
Yeah, the side
Real
shows are
men go to the
stupid.
canyon. Learn how
Side
to
shows
drive
are stupid.
stick
Your mother
and go
should
to
have
the
swallowed you, and
goddamn
your
canyon.
fathers are never coming home.
Can I just say something on the sideshows as well? That
Please.
is not car culture. That is not.
Thank you.
car doing
Oh,
that.
It's
no.
not.
That's
no.
not.
It's not.
In fact, if you go back to episode 4 of the Rev Match podcast, we covered this exact issue. Go watch, like, and subscribe. Moving on.
Yeah, we.
That's twice. That's twice. Hey, I'll let
I'm
you
running
go.
a professional app operation here.
Commercial coming. Commercial coming.
But I don't remember where I was going with that. But no, it's just like I think about we used to do shit like that, and now it's like I don't really run in the fog. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can
Called,
I
like-
tell you guys about a story? I call it. I initial D'd one of my friends in
Please.
Japan.
I would.
Oh,
yeah.
please.
It was.
It goes so many ways. Yeah.
It was
You
actually
made him
at
sell tofu? What?
one of Hakone's Toge roads. Hakone is the
Mhm.
very mountainous area around Mount Fuji in Kanagawa Prefecture. Also home to a lot of the initial D roads. Anyway, I think one of my buddies, he was in a white at the time, new 86. It was the Toyota 86. And we were on the Hakone Turnpike or one of those other Toge roads, whatever. And I was behind him, turned my headlights off, and he was in front of me. And so, to caveat all this and put this in some context, his headlights illuminated the road in such a nature that I'm like, oh wow, I don't really need my headlights, so I'm just gonna fuck around with Bob real quick and turn my headlights off. And I drove not by him. I drove behind him for I don't know, like 30 minutes without any lights on. It was hilarious.
Holy shit!
So that is like
So-
I used to do that to
utmost.
Alex all the time.
Yeah,
Well,
we
I didn't
used-
drive behind you, but your lights were so bright. Like you were always the lead car on the like when
Yeah.
we would hit the GMR, I was like, I'm not following anybody else. Like Alex is my headlights.
Yeah, my
Right,
shit was real bright. But it was like we had a pretty solid because we would run that mountain like every Friday night.
Yeah.
That felt like almost 2 years. Like it was real fucking consistent. And
Yeah.
I was living in Japan for
yeah,
over
exactly.
8
You're doing it all the time, right? Like I
Amazing.
feel like I could go drive GMR right now and the muscle memory would kick in like 5 minutes into the run, right? But like it would be me, Jamal, Zach, and fucking stupid ass Julio. And nobody would ever follow Julio because he drove like a maniac. And like we're like, he's gonna get himself killed. Like, and he's
Is
alive.
this
Yeah.
But
Porsche Julio now? Porsche Carrera Julio?
No.
no. This is somebody we grew up with. This is
Ah,
we're in. It's like so. It's S13, S14, DC4 Integra, New Edge Mustang.
Who's in the S13 and is it the hatchback?
I'm
or
in
the
I'm in I'm in an S13 hatch, yeah. And then my I know I miss it every day. Even
Was it
though
red?
it was red with a black door and a
Oh.
black hatch.
Yes!
Yeah.
I also
Did
had
not
a
know that.
Yeah.
hatch at one point with
Yeah.
in Texas.
So it was red, had a black door, black hatch. It was I had a fucking Zenki with a Zenki lip on it. And then the guy who owned it before me, I think backed it into like the parking fucking like poles.
Yeah.
I think he backed it in between them because it was perfectly pinched in the back end, like on each side in the exact same spot. So I put a giant Band-Aid sticker over one of them on the driver's side. Like it was like the big. I went to the mall and had it made. And I was like, how big can you make it? And it was like 18 inches. I was like, fucking send it. Like, let's go. And it just said
That'll do.
oops and like big ass letters like over the bin and just put it on the back of the car, right?
You were that guy.
I was
Yeah.
dude, the car was obnoxious. Like it was whatever.
Well, when your ignorant ass self turned the exhaust from down to up, I should have understood that. I'm
It
sorry.
was great too. That was after I crashed it. So we would fucking
Jamal straight just rolling his fucking eyes like the most
This eye
dramatic white
roll-
girl roll I fucking have ever seen in my life.
Because this eye roll is coming from a guy who was driving a fucking car with no cats. Like I took my cats off, but like when I showed up to his house and he was like, "Yo, check out my exhaust," and I saw it turned up, I was like, "What? What are we doing here?"
it didn't
Like-
sound bad, it was just loud as fuck.
No, but it looked goofy as shit. I was like, "Why did
Did
you
you have like a
turn it
big ass
up?"
like, black spot like out the
Oh
bumper,
yeah.
or what?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Dude, it was a 3-inch
Real quick.
exhaust tip that just went like this, dude. Like it was but no, but
One
we used
weekend
to
of shitty gas, and it was a wrap.
yeah, that was it. I mean, but no, we used to run like 2 inches off bumper from each other.
Yeah.
Like up and just shaking, just like up and down the mountain. Like fucking Zach bumped Jamal at like 65 miles an hour on a mountain road. He just like boop, like fucking.
I have like he would like every time he would see my car, he would like point out to people. He was like, "This is from my bumper on the mountain
he would,
road."
like,
Like
he would
I
just,
was
like-
bumping him one night. He was like, he wanted to kill me. I was like, "Yeah, dude, you're bumping me on a fucking mountain range."
I
Of course
mean, to
wanted
be
kill
fair,
you.
your car is like 600 pounds heavier than Zach, so it's not like he was doing a ton, but it was just like, so like it was one of the few times I was behind Zach. So I'm behind Zach, and I'm like this, and then Julio was in front, and there's like 4 car lengths between Jamal and Julio because nobody wants to fuck with that shit. And I just see Jamal's car like, I see Zach's car like kind of back up, like every once in a while he's just like it's just kind of like slowing down, and so I'm just like I'm letting off, but you gotta remember I'm driving a single overhead cam KA, so it's like a Nissan hard body truck engine. If you get off the gas, you're like I have to downshift twice to get those revs back. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude,
Damn it, go
dude,
fucking faster!
dude, Jamal drove the first time Jamal drove in my car with me up that mountain. He's like, "You're working so hard." And I was like, "I know." It's like I fucking know, bro. Like, I know.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah.
But I love
mean,
it.
This fool was there. I ran shit that was way faster than should on paper be way faster than me in that car. But this is probably why I blew an input shaft on that transmission because I was fucking slamming the shit out of shifting just to try to keep it moving. Right? It's like imagine a Miata but worse in the power band fucking category. Anyway, yeah, but we used to
He
run
ran
just
it like for
That
the
same guy.
marbles every time. Like,
yeah. That
This
thing
might be the last time I drive this car. Fuck it, send it.
a couple of times it was. Remember when we went to McDonald's after we ran the mountain and my fucking water pump went out? My shit
my
overheats in a Walmart parking lot at 3:00 in the morning, dude.
Oh, I guess we're leaving this here.
No, I fucking limped it home, dude. I poured a
That's
Sprite in
why I
fucking.
never like 240s. 240s will break down on you at the most inopportune time.
Oh,
Like the
100%.
worst times you could possibly.
Most
the
imagine.
Japanese
engine-
cars do.
Mustangs will always take you home. They'll always get you
With,
back
like,
to the house.
3
They
or
might
4
die
people in the
garage,
grill.
But fuck you.
Yeah, what Alex said. 3 or 4 people in the grill.
Right? Anybody know whose hand this is? I don't know. It looks like Steve's hand to me. Anybody seen Steve?
Steve should get his ass out the way.
Dude,
Right,
that
you should've known better.
K24 would just not
Yeah.
die. I also tried to grenade the K24 to like have a poor excuse to swap an SR20 into my S13 hatch, and it wouldn't. Like, didn't.
No,
didn't
Not
I-
what you wanted.
No, dude, I blew
blew
a
the
head.
fucking transmission before the.
Yeah, no, same. I blew the input shaft. I blew the input shaft and the entire brake system before I blew the engine in that piece of shit. My fucking brakes locked up on the freeway and caught on fire, and the engine still ran. Like, I would go months without putting oil in that bitch. It would just go. I never had
was
to.
My buddy
Terrible.
Colin has a red hatch with one seat in it because he uses it as a parts car, and he drives the piss out of that car. Like he'll go to events in it. He'll be like, "Is there an event this weekend?" All right, I'm gonna
That's
take
what
the
they're
hatch.
for. That's what those like. And
It's still
apparently,
KA
they're-
though.
but there's like a whole dude's
Here.
like. I was just watching something and like a bunch of dudes are like. Apparently, somebody figured out how to reliably, quote unquote, turbo a KA. And what I
They're
s-
super reliable turbo. They've been that way for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, but they were always really finicky to tune.
Were
like-
they?
Yeah, KATs were always like they would lean out a bunch. They'd end up pushing too much air, and the fuel system couldn't keep. It was just like this whole fucking thing. But I was just watching some shit, and this whole group of dudes ran down to, I think it was what's the Stupid Cold or whatever the fuck that shit is, the one on the East Coast, and like 5 of them had KA turbos and S13s, and they were all pushing like 450 horsepower and just running. Single cam fucking turbo, 450 horsepower.
Yeah,
That engine
yeah.
is a giant piece of shit. Like when I tell you
Oh,
this
you're
thing
talking
is
the K18. I'm talking the K24.
no, it's still a KA24, but there's a single cam and there's a dual cam. So up to
Yeah.
89, I had a single,
Single
cam.
cam was trash.
That's what I had. I had a single
Yeah.
slammer. The dual cams are a little. It's a little bit better, and like the dual cams get that weird like VTEC thing around 4,000 RPM in fourth gear, and I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. They just kind of pull super hard at that specific point.
You're like, oh,
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
oh, dude. When I tell you, just the worst engine to be put in a sports car ever. Like, we got so fucking hosed because of emissions, and Nissan had no 4-cylinder performance engine package in the United States at the time. They were just like, put a truck engine in it, fuck it, like whatever. It was
Fuck
yeah,
it.
they're bad, but no, I'm into that. I'm into like the KA turbo shit, but I just can't like buy an S13 anymore. They're so fucking expensive.
Yeah, I'm gonna say not on a
Yeah.
decent dollar. No.
And not one that I'd like want to beat the shit out of.
No,
Yeah.
because you're gonna buy it, you're gonna build it, you make it nice at this point in your life. You're
Right,
not gonna
exactly.
Have some fucking beater that, like you said, some dude ran into fucking 2 poles and bullshit, right?
It was
gonna
perfect. It's
be
a perfect car. Yeah.
you're gonna have something that's clean, something you're gonna want to build, something you want to keep clean, because that's who you are now. Because I'm the same.
I
way,
mean, I
like,
like nice shit, but at the same time, like if you want to go sideways, you have to like lack a certain amount of mechanical sympathy, or you're fucking
True.
Adam LZ and never crash your car somehow.
dude definitely blows shit up all the fucking
Not
time.
on the Banana S13, he doesn't.
Dude.
No,
all
his
he
Type
does-
X. No, his Type X.
That's his car.
His banana colored Type X S13. He has never crashed that car, not once.
crashed or blown the motor up.
No, I'm not talking about blowing the motor up. I'm talking about he has never, and he drives the shit out of that car, and he has never put it in a wall. He's never dragged a wall with it. Like,
have you seen his chaser?
I've seen the shit, but that's what I'm saying though. Is like he
The
built
white
the
one?
Chaser knowing that was the car he was going to beat the shit out of.
No. Have you seen his clean white one?
Oh yeah, I've seen the white one, the root beer
TJ?
ones. Yeah, the root beer one's tight. That's the one he takes on Drift Week and shit. That guy's got so many fucking cars. He's got like 3 S15s at this point. I can't
I would just like to know how all of that's legal because most of those cars are not.
because
Oh, Florida, homie.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Florida.
Yeah, the national the
Tiger
state
King out there. You can
yeah
own
the
a
state
fucking
anthem
car.
of Florida is
Yeah.
yeah. They just don't give a fuck, Doug. They do whatever they want.
Kind of the same where Alex is at, but a little bit more lenient.
It's
that way.
it's worse in
Right.
Florida. They don't give a fuck. I
Yeah.
still have to like make sure my OBD2 monitors run. You put headlights on some shit in Florida, you can register for the street. They don't give a shit.
like legit. That's why all his cars are registered in fucking Florida.
You go to register a car in Florida. Some dude named JJ rolls out. He's got his finger in his belly button. He's just rubbing it around. The wheel
She
turn
gone
both
right there.
right. The wheel turn both ways. It's on fire. You all right?
Go
That's
ahead
it.
and put that out for next year, okay?
Yeah, here's your registration. That'll be $12.
It's gotta be it's gotta be present when you register it. That's a stupid rule. I don't like it.
But the car has to be present when you register it.
Yeah.
Just
I don't
trust
like
me,
it.
bro. It's a Corolla. It's fine. Don't worry about
Not
it.
in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
I need to
Yeah,
state where the
but-
car doesn't need to be present.
Yeah, like let's not, make ourselves complicit
Like
in
you
a
don't have to
felony
be
here,
present for
Michael.
anything in Arizona.
I have 2 homes. One's in Arizona. My GTR's up here for repairs. I don't to tell you.
For the last 24 months.
I haven't found a good mechanic yet. Sorry.
That's rude.
He said what he
Oof.
said.
Bitch.
I will say this, Mike. I'm gonna redo the registration on the GTR very soon.
Waiting on it, man. Let's do
We are
this.
not talking about
and I will
felonies.
absolutely
We are
drive
not
the
talking.
I will absolutely drive the car in the current state of the power steering rack. All I do is keep it filled.
Oh,
so
weird.
fuck
Weird.
Yeah.
A Nissan with a blown power steering rack. What's that like?
Strange. So strange.
Yeah, so off brand.
it. To be fair, it survived a 200-mile-an-hour blow up. Okay, that's the one. That's still the same one from that.
Oh, it's from when
that
you
year.
blew
of
the
course.
shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I did.
No,
Did you not-
I would love to see the GTR out on that road. That would be
Listen, all I'm gonna say is that if you fix the power steering rack before you fix that busted ass rear tint that you have in that car, I fucking swear to God, I'm gonna fly out there.
I've lived with the rear tint for like 8 years, and so it doesn't.
Yeah, it's
really
called
bother me
Stockholm
much.
syndrome, my dog. Like, I
Don't
swear.
give a fuck.
Fair.
It's
fair.
a really nice car with really bad tint. You were like $200 away from a 30% improvement in your exterior appearance. That's all I'm saying.
Can I just say that I think it's a point of pride for me that like I went to the Cars and Coffee Whitney Ranch where like a bunch of pristine cars and restorations happen.
And you
like,
brought down the property value? Is that
Yeah. Like I parked there and like immediately got out and like walked off because I was looking for Mike or somebody. I think I was meeting one of you guys, or I was supposed to. You guys didn't show up because you guys are hosers. Anyway,
I got
Who's yours?
COVID. You met
Who's
Kyle.
yours?
Who's
Don't
he?
even try.
Yours.
Who's your sh?
I
don't
digress.
don't fucking Lady Gaga in here. Get out of here with that.
I was the owner of my GTR, and so like I made my way back around, and I was listening to some of the commentary of some people, you know, around my car, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this car definitely gets fucking driven," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you very much."
Yes.
Like that to me, that's like the ultimate compliment. Like, oh, I could tell that this gets driven. Like it's not something that only comes
As
out.
it should,
Another
man.
trailer
the-
queen.
The
And
fucked
so,
up
like,
part is
I
that some
see
people
the-
will
I
say that
see
as an
the-
insult, and I hate that.
Well,
Yeah.
to each his own, and that's fair.
Yeah,
But,
no,
like,
you're
I see-
allowed to be wrong for
I
sure.
fucked up tint in the back as something like, oh man, this dude.
No. Listen, if you have chips in your paint, if you have chips in your paint and your front splitter's a little fucked up, and there's rubber on the sides of the car, and there's brake dust on the wheels and all that shit,
About it.
that
About it.
says this car gets
100%.
driven. If your tint is blown out in the back seat, it's like there's probably 6-month-old McDonald's bags in this car somewhere.
I had
I
three.
don't eat in my GTRs. It's like
I had
I don't
three
know,
little
this for
bubbles
you.
in my tent, like this big, and I
Yeah.
got that shit replaced.
It's the little things, man. That's all I'm saying.
I gotta fix the STI
I'd
front
rather put the money
windows.
in go fast parts. What can I say?
Yeah.
And the
You
You ain't buying
GTR.
you ain't buying no Go Fast parts for a GTR for $200, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
Why would I trust somebody to redo the tint on my 33-year-old rear windshield with the defrost? Like they're gonna
Yeah,
rip the defrost.
Their defrost is definitely
so-
coming out.
No,
That's
it's
my-
not. Yeah,
Nah, there's people that can do it.
yeah.
If
that's
they
not-
do it right, they steam
Old
it.
technology. They've been tinting windows forever.
I'm not gonna trust Ernesto down the street.
Also,
for
like you
$200.
understand that, like that's
Well,
not
don't go to Ernesto. Go to Davey.
that's not like on the exterior of the glass. Like you
The
can't
Davey
just
defrost. things are on the
Defrosters are on the inside.
yeah, but it's like lacquered in there. Like it doesn't just pull off. Like I've manhandled some fucking tint off of a back window and have never once been concerned, nor had a defroster come off.
Was
on
it
me.
was it
if
was
they
it
take the
33
tint
years
off
old?
right, that you can.
Yeah,
Was
my
it
first
33
S13, my white S13, I pulled all the tint out of that car.
But it wasn't 33 years old.
This was 2005 and this was a 90, so it was damn near.
But what I'm saying is it's not 33 years old. How old was the tint? I think that's what he's more worried about, because I can tell you right now,
If
how
it's that
much
bubbled,
fucking-
it's halfway off anyway. Like I don't
No,
understand.
hold on. because I can tell you what it costs to replace glass in a fucking GTR.
Oh, I
is
know that.
on fucking astronomical.
No,
Like,
but you don't listen. If you're breaking glass removing tint, you're just
No,
flat
I'm not
out
saying-
fucking doing it
I'm
wrong.
not saying
No, they're
breaking
saying,
glass,
like,
but
if
if you
you're-
like
Yeah.
for me,
Messing up the defroster.
for me, even though I'm not going to drive that car where I need a rear defroster, I still want it to work. And it would drive me absolutely fucking nuts that the window tint got pulled off, all that shit got pulled off. I'm sorry, I'm a perfectionist, and I think Lenny's the same way. That then you're going to re-tint it, and now it's not going to work in spots, or all of it doesn't work. That would drive me nuts.
I refuse to accept the thought process that there is not a competent tint shop that can handle that. I
I'm sure there is,
absolutely
but I'm not willing to invest that kind of money into the rear.
If it's
That's my
another 10% to get it
Sorry,
done
go.
properly, that's $220 versus $200.
I think around here, I think for that, I think it'd probably be more like 3 to 4.
If you're paying
Sounds
somebody
like
to
an
do it.
NFT to me.
Oh,
Shit.
I mean, if you, I guess in this, in
Put
your,
this
in
in
your
an
sense, it
NFT right
sounds
here.
like bullshit.
Let's
Then
put
yeah, I
this
guess
shit right
it
here
is an
on
NFT.
NFT and let's sell the fuck out of it.
Let's put Lenny's busted ass rear window tint as an NFT, and we'll sell the shit out of that.
Shoot, it's got enough history.
Shit, that's true.
Every
That's
NFT will have one fewer bubble than the one before it, and we will make 1,000 of them.
Dude, it's a great fucking idea.
I'm a visionary with no means to execute. We've had this conversation.
Yeah, we know. We know. We fucking know.
Oh,
One
man.
single plop. We almost talked about cars tonight, guys.
Yeah.
I know.
We did. It's almost more fun this way. I think the bullshitting is more engaging.
Yeah, but
I think it's cool to do. I like the shows we do when we're super like have a subject,
Full
and
circle with that steering wheel, huh?
yeah, it's a circle. I also like the shows like this where we just bullshit in the general vicinity of automotive discussion more than pointedly discussing any one subject.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like yeah, we're like an hour and a half in. I think we're good. That's a show, right? It feels like a show.
It's a show.
It feels like a show. So yeah, let us know about merch and shit, dudes. We're gonna do that soon. We have the merch in hand. We're gonna figure out what we have left to sell and then sell it. And then we're definitely gonna do a poll. I think a white tee. I think that white tee you put together, Mike, was pretty dope.
Yeah.
That shit was
Yeah,
clean.
I like the white tee. I think a white and a black version would be cool. I would love to do a hoodie, but dude, hoodies are
Hoodies are expensive.
borderline.
If you
Hoodies
guys
are
want
expensive.
if you guys want hoodies, let us know. Understanding that. And I used to think that when smaller brands would sell hoodies for like $65, $70, I'm like, what a fucking ripoff. And now that I know what the input output threshold is on some shit like that, I'm like, listen, you guys want a hoodie, you got to be committed to like $75. Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
on
I mean,
cost. Like, that's
Yeah.
we're like breaking
I
even
mean,
at $75.
by the time we get it, we package it, we ship it, and all that stuff. Like hoodies are expensive. T-shirts
Yeah.
a little bit more doable. We're gonna put some designs on IG. Try to get that out there. We're gonna try to do a couple more shorts. Maybe if we can get maybe Cupcake involved, a little Black Daddy Chris. See if maybe
Miss
we can do a
him.
couple. See if we can do a couple of shoots with him. See if we can get some good merch pics and all that stuff and put it out there.
That'd be cool. I think it'd be cool to
and
have.
get all that done.
I need a photo of Jay just straight fucking hood fabulous in Long Beach with his Mustangs in the like not on the driveway, on the lawn. You know what I'm saying? You already know what I'm talking about. Just put them on the lawn.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
So-
man,
So
You can.
it's the merch is gonna come, and the more we get input back on it, the more we can kind of expand it. We even talked a little bit about I made the GTR shirt.
Yeah,
we
that
can
would
throw
be
our-
cool.
we
I
can throw
think if you
cards
did
on
that
it.
black and white, that'd be cool. We hit a cool like, and this is it's really easy to look at like what the Twitch stream does and what the YouTube does, and like kind of try to get an idea of what like the podcast is doing. But we're getting like we're in the last few episodes have been pushing 1,000 downloads.
Guys.
Yeah, which is like, and it's
Thank
like
you.
it's fucking huge for us, right? Like there's people listening to us in South
Cool.
Africa, Lenny. How did they find out about it? I have no idea. No fucking clue. But there's like a really bright spot in South Africa of like 6 dudes that listen to us. So we fucking appreciate the shit out of
We
you guys.
appreciate the fuck out of
Yeah.
y'all.
Enthusiasts over in South Africa. I'll tell
The
you what.
apartheid's
Nice.
fucking whack and
Share
red
that
match
shit
is
with your
dope. You know what I'm saying? Like
fellow
that's
citizens.
Oh
We appreciate you.
man.
True.
but it's like, yeah, so like, you know, YouTube's a fickle bitch, especially for like for podcast channels. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
Who's getting in trouble?
somebody's getting yelled at.
My
Somebody's
dog.
getting fuking whooped right now.
It's like everybody's trying to stay stone faced. Somebody's
Right.
getting in trouble.
Go outside and get me a
Wasn't me,
switch,
it wasn't me, it
motherfucker.
wasn't me.
Yeah.
His name is Zeus.
Right.
And,
He was
in
about to
his
catch
background.
that lightning for one it sounds like,
Oh.
player.
About to-
But no, it's cool to see the growth. It's cool to see that shit. Like we've been doing this for we're going on 2 years doing this. That's wild.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, that's depressing. But to see the growth and to see people supporting and see and all that shit is and just to see that like somehow people around the world are listening to this fucking ridiculous thing that we do in our living rooms. It's fucking tight, you
And-
know. So we
And if,
appreciate
and
it.
if y'all have made it this far,
Oh,
our
man.
Discord is wide open. Get in the Discord.
Yeah, if you guys want to,
interact
if
with us.
yeah, let's. I've been meaning to
Yeah,
talk. That's a
hit
good
us up.
point. I've been meaning to think about that. If you guys want into the Discord, we'll put a post up soon about it. I can very easily set that up to be like a chat forum for some car guy shit. And we can bullshit. And we can all hang out and chit chat and shit. So
Guys from South Africa, hit us up.
hit us up,
For
bro.
real.
For real.
Got you. I'll send
Right.
you a T-shirt, bro.
We will
Let's
see if
go.
your insanity can be cured. Sorry.
It's stupid.
That was an Avatar reference that has no application to the
Oh, I
South.
know.
Anyway, we're gonna call it an evening. We appreciate you guys hanging out. This is probably the shortest episode we've had in 9 months. So, you know,
It's fun.
we got that going for us. Hopefully, as long as his jaw is strapped up, next episode we will have Scrape Lux on the channel to talk about
Yeah.
his sick ass beam swapped Toyota truck. Cool drift truck. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool,
Excited
Lenny.
for
It's
this.
definitely
Yeah.
cool. It's a cool little fucking truck, and he did all the work himself, which is tight, and I respect the fuck
Yeah.
out of that. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, you guys be safe, drive safe. Don't get drunk and drive in canyons like me and Jamal did as kids. We were dumb, and we're
Don't do
lucky to be alive.
I wouldn't say we were. I
Okay,
wouldn't.
all right. Don't listen to what anything else Jamal has to say after this point in the conversation,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
he's
he's
wrong, and he'll probably end up with a felony. But drive safe, drive fast, be
Fucking come in,
good,
dyke
and
motherfuckers.
we will fucking goddamn it. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Later.